So we are at 6:46. We have grown from 6:36 to 6:46. Y'all can't see the number. Let me put it in the camera so you can see. Y'all, we are growing. We are growing and it is working out. So I was just talking on TikTok about how I've tried stuff like this in the past to grow my subscribers and get to 1K. And so I had to ask myself, like, honestly, is it the fact that I can't do it, or am I just using it as a cop out? Like, if I really tried, if I really was strategic, if I really thought about, okay, how can I improve this? How can I fix this? Would it actually work this time if I had that kind of mentality? And when I thought about it, and I thought about the other things that I've been able to accomplish. Like, that's just my mentality. I'm a resilient person. I got to bounce back. I got to try it again. I got to figure out a new way to do it, especially when it's something where it's like it's bothering me. Like, if I don't accomplish this, if I don't figure this out, it's going to bother me. I can't just be okay with not giving it my all. And so that's why we here. That's why we doing that. And so I'm I today I want today to be kind of like a healing session. I enjoy having Sundays where it feels like you set the tone for your week. And I have a friend named Miss Kita B. She's over here on TikTok, and soon she'll be over on YouTube more as well. And she always talks about her self-care Sundays. And so every Sunday she has spa Sundays. She has her spa Sundays, and it's a moment for you to relax. It's a moment for you to check in with yourself. It's a moment for you to set your intentions for the week. And I love the idea of doing that on Sundays and having rituals that you commit to every week, especially like on weeks where that day you have less going on that day. And so sticking to those rituals, because the rituals that you set, especially if they're ones that hey, you've done for so long that they become a habit, where they become things that you do naturally, you're doing them for a reason. Like, they benefit you in one way or the other, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, we all have our rituals, we all have our habits. And so they're developed to serve some kind of purpose. So I love the idea of having no, Kyrie, not this episode. I love the idea of having the time to just set it, reestablish it, and make it what it is that you want the week to be, you know, to the best of your abilities. And so that's what I want today's episode to be about, because we got to talk about some things. So if y'all are ready, I'm ready. But before I get into it, I'm going to take a moment to just breathe. Like, just breathe. There's some different, we're at 6:52. What? Oh, I didn't know. My number's wrong, y'all. We're at 6:52. What? Oh man, that makes me so excited. Oh my goodness. So now I gotta change the number. Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's some different breathing techniques and like rhythms that you can do that they have different purposes. And so, oh, okay, okay. So and they serve different purposes. And so I was trying to remember the one, like that the rhythm that the one that I just learned was, if I remember correctly, the count is seven breaths in. Is it what it means? 4 breaths in, hold for 7 seconds, breathe out 4 seconds. And if y'all know the one I'm thinking of and you can correct me, let me know. But I feel like that's the one. Or maybe it's breathe in for 7, hold for 7, breathe out 4. Anyway, we're gonna do the 4-7-4. All right. So if y'all can and you want to, Hey, Sharice, then we're going to do a quick breathing exercise. All right. So we're going to breathe in, hold, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. That felt good. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Okay. Okay. I'm as I'm doing it, I definitely don't think that was the count, but that's okay. Because what we did do is breathe. All right. So before I get into my creator confession today, y'all, it is um it's a challenging one for me. So I'm about to be super transparent today. I mean, not that I'm not transparent every other day, but I don't know. This one just kind of hits a little bit closer to home. Hey, Palm, over on the YouTubes. So before we get into that, I've been hosting the Getting Unshy Collective. And if you're not familiar with the Getting Unshy Collective, the Getting Unshy Collective is the branding program. It's a done with you program that helps new entrepreneurs and rebranding entrepreneurs to get their businesses going, to build a brand that's authentic, that's them. And you get to do it in collaboration with me. So it will basically be like having me as your brand manager, more like I wouldn't say brand manager, more like your coach and your strategist to help you to build a brand that you're proud of, one that you are confident with, where you feel comfortable using your voice, where you feel secure in every room that you walk in, whether that's a virtual space or an in real life space. I want you to feel good about what it is that you're putting out into the world. And when I talk to people, I always call people trendsetters because I believe that the people that I'm called to help are trendsetters. They're the people who are different. They're the people who march to the beat of their own drum. They're the people who are doing something that's a little bit different or maybe completely different than what they've seen in the industries that they're aspiring to be a part of or that they already are in. And one of the things that really inspired me and also inspired the name Getting Unshy is how many people I would encounter who had so much more to offer than they let on. And it was always interesting to me because I would have conversations with these people privately, right? Like one-on-one conversations. And when I would listen to them talk about certain things, especially when I could tell it was something that they loved, they could talk about it like seamlessly. Like it's just like they had so much to say and so much to share. But then when it came to maybe their social media platforms, or maybe when it came to them speaking to other people, I would know things about their dreams that no one else would know, or I would know things that they could do that nobody else would know. And so I started to like pick up on that. And I'm like, why are there so many people out here acting like they don't know what they're talking about? Acting like they don't know what they're doing. And when I reflected on my own experiences, I realized that I have a tendency to do the same thing. Especially when I'm in spaces where even if there aren't people who I feel are more qualified than me, like it doesn't even have to be people that I'm intimidated by. It was just the fact that I just didn't want to be I didn't want to ever look like I didn't know what I was talking about, or I never wanted to come across like, oh, that's misinformation, or like I never wanted to be wrong. Like I just had to always make the right moves all the time. And so some of that's like people pleasing, some of that is oh, did I get the number wrong? I thought it was 652. Well, oh, it is 6:52. I'm sorry, you just reminded me I gotta change it. I was told that I'm at 6:52 now. When I last looked, it was 6:46. And so anyway, when I realized that I was the one doing that for, various reasons, that was where the whole idea of getting unshy came from. And so when I started the collective, and this is my third cycle running the collective. I knew that I had to make it something that was nothing that I've ever seen before. I feel like when you join communities or when you buy a course, a lot of times those courses are, they're DIY. So you buy the course and you're just kind of left to your own devices, navigating it and implementing it, right? And if you're somebody who's like really, you can really push yourself to get it done, that's great, but that's not everybody's cup of tea. And I enjoy that aspect of being able to have conversations with the person who made the course or the person who has gone through this experience. And so that was the reason why I created the collective the way that I did, because especially when you're dealing with something as special as starting a business, or something as special as believing in yourself and trying again after businesses failed, or after things didn't go the way that you thought that they would, or feeling intimidated by the process when you did start your business the first time. There's so many things that we experience and go through as entrepreneurs that don't always get you just don't always have that space to feel like you're around people who get it. So that was like my biggest motivation for making the collective the way that I did. And I've been really feeling encouraged by the people that are in it already, and excited to see their fire and their excitement and their commitment to themselves. And so I wanted to shout them out. I wanted to shout them out. And the people that are in it, they are more than welcome to share and talk about who they are. But I don't put people out there unless they tell me explicitly to put them out there. But the people that are a part of the collective, when they are ready to share that they are, you'll see it. And when you see their growth, you'll know the difference. And so I just wanted to shout them out and say how proud I am and how honored I feel to be the person that's helping them through this, because it's a really intimate thing. And so we're going to shift and we're going to talk about this creator confession, y'all. So I wanted to have like a jingle for my confessions. And I always like the podcast that have like a little jingle or something where like the transition is happening. But the only thing that I could think of right now is Usher, and I don't want to rip off Usher's song, but these are my confessions, okay? These are my creator confessions. So, my confession for today, got to get my notebook to make sure I say the right one. So, my confession today is that I am not further along because I'm the one in my own way. And that's not a new revelation, at least not for me at all. But even when I started this challenge, I had to think about the fact that there have been multiple times where I started to get momentum in what I was doing and I was starting to see results. And then I start to go ghost. Like I literally like fall back and no longer do the thing that I was doing to start seeing results in the first place. And so I'm I'm realizing that when it comes to like being accountable for my actions and not not making the things that happen in my life everybody else's fault, or everything else, like it's not all based on circumstances. There really are times where nah, like I'm the problem. I'm the problem. So what made me think about this confession today was when I thought about this challenge. So uh I'm at 652 now, and this is the most subscribers that I've got in this time frame without a post like going viral, and at least by like my standards, because it's not it wouldn't be considered viral for some people, but in comparison to what my views usually look like, these are some different numbers. Okay, so when I thought about how things were going, I literally thought about all the steps that I've been taking to keep this challenge going. So it's going to be a little monotonous, not monotonous, but like a little mundane to explain this part, but I have to break it down like this so that y'all can know what I'm talking about. So when I when I'm go live, before I go live on YouTube and on TikTok, I have my notebook. And so I sit down and I think about all the things that I want to talk about for the day, and I think about it in sections. So you can see literally that I have the mindfulness, or the uttada. I didn't do the uttada today. I chose to do the mindfulness today. Then the next thing that I have is my creator confessions. That's the next segment. The third thing is the main story or the main topic, and then the last thing is the plug. And so that's where I'm going to advertise what I have going on, and eventually it'll be the space where I advertise and plug other people, other brand deals, collaborations, whatever I have going on that I can put here. That's going to be this spot. So even before I started going live and I was planning out this whole thing, I had to think about what my goal was for going live. Like, why am I going live in the first place? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish on this platform specifically? And then how can I utilize the platform that I have the most engagement and the most followers on, and leverage that to grow my smaller platform? And so I had to do all of that thinking, all that planning, and that's all the things that I did even before November 1st. Okay. So this is giving you like all the back stuff into what I did. Then after that, so every day I sit down, and before I go live, I sit down and I think about all of the things that fit into these topics. So am I going to do mindfulness today or the uttada? Next, what is my creator confession? That's the next thing. Thank you, Lola. Then I'm thinking about what is the main story? What's the main topic? That's the bulk of the live. And then I think about the plug. So I do this every day, literally every single day. So far, this is what I've been doing. And then after that, I have to I got to take some screenshots or some pictures to use for my thumbnails. And I take it with my camera as opposed to getting screenshots of my live, because the camera quality looks the best when I take it with my camera. So I had to figure out how I could use my computer and my camera setup to take pictures. And so I'll go into detail about what that looks like. If I feel like there's enough interest in it, then I'll share that with y'all. So if that's something that you want to see, just say show me in the comments, and I will show y'all what I do to take my screenshots from my thumbnails that I upload later, right? So then that's the next step. Then after that, I make sure that my lights are set up. So I have two lights. Both of them are ring lights right now. I plan on investing in more lights very soon, but these are like my old faithfuls. And so I make sure my lights are set up. Then I got to make sure that my mic is set up. And then I have my camera set up, and I have my phone set up right next to it. If you're on YouTube, you can't see that. And then if you're on TikTok, you just see me talking in a mic. So either way, you can't see the setup. But I got to make sure that's together. Then I this is like a small detail, but I do have to like change out my lens, because I keep the lens off of my camera, but I keep my camera on the tripod. So all of this, everything that I'm describing right now, this is all the stuff that I'm doing before I go live. Then after that, I have to record a video, because I've been recording videos every day promoting the live. And so the reason why I'm doing that is because even if I'm not live, people know that I have this goal. And so I'm telling them in the video on TikTok, it's about 15 minutes, I mean 15-second video, letting them know that I'm going live here over on YouTube. So I record the video and then I add a quick title to it, make sure the captions are on, and then I post that video. Then after I post that video, then I finally get to go live on TikTok. Then on YouTube side, I got to create a title. I have my description box like preset. So my description box is always up there, even if I need to add in some details to it. I add the title to my video. And if I make the thumbnail before I go live, then I post the thumbnail. If not, then I create the thumbnail afterwards and I just replace it so that when people see the live afterwards, they see a nice, attractive thumbnail. So after all of that, then I'm finally able to go live, y'all. And so this is the steps. These are literally the steps that I'm going through every day as I'm doing this challenge. And so the reason why I had to break down what I do is because everything that I described is necessary for this to work. Like, it's necessary for this strategy. So everything that I described, y'all, really is kind of like bare bones because I could be doing more. Like, I could be adding more elaborate things. I could be doing more, I guess, like promotion. Like, I could really be doing this up, but this is like bare bones. If my goal is to take one platform and grow another one, this is the strategy that works, right? And so as I was thinking about today, I had two things. Hey, Papa Pixels. I had two things that were like competing in my brain. The first thing was pride. Like, I was so proud of the fact that I had gained the amount of subscribers that I did over these past 2 days. Yeah. For the most part, for the most part. This one I didn't. But, I try to create the thumbnail at least within like 24 hours. So I don't go live until I've created the thumbnail for the previous one. So, but I was proud of myself for being able to have seen like subscribers. Like, every day I have grown in subscribers, and that's something that when it comes to YouTube, I'm used to going like days, sometimes weeks without getting subscribers, right? Like, even like, let's say, even if I got one new subscriber every day this year, I would already have 1,000 subscribers. Like, that's how infrequently I get subscribers. So I was really proud of that. But then my other thought was, I don't feel like it though. I don't feel like going live. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like creating a thumbnail, or I feel like I don't want to go live on TikTok and YouTube. I just want to skip a day and just do one. I started to think about all the ways that I could cut corners and skip out on some of the steps that I described to you, right? And I realized in that moment that this is the kind of stuff that happens when things are going well, when I'm seeing positive results from my efforts, and I try to then shift things and switch it up. And so if you've ever been in one of those places, have you, and let me know if y'all can relate to this part. I want to hear y'all feedback on this. But have you ever been in a situation where you look back and you're like, why did I stop doing that? Like, some habit that you started, or something that you developed, or something that you were doing that was working, and you look back and you're like, why did I stop doing that? Like, what happened? When did that change? When did that shift? Like, I was drinking water every day, or I was drinking a bottle of water in the morning every day, and then all of a sudden I stopped. Like, when did we get here? And why am I thirsty now? I think that one came to my mind because I am literally thirsty at this moment. I gotta drink some water. that was that was topical. But like you just have moments where you're like, why did I stop doing what was working? And I've noticed different times in my life where things will be going well, something will be doing good, something will be working, and it'll freak me out. And I'll just stop. Like I'll change it. But the thing is that in the moment, I don't realize that that's what's happening. Because when I think about right, cherish the pause. When I think about all of the things that um no, not all the things. When I think about one thing in particular that came to my mind outside of this situation was anytime I want to say up until maybe this year, maybe a little bit last year, but anytime that I had gone viral, like my very first time going viral, it was like, what happened to her? Because I couldn't handle it. Like I could not handle all of the attention that I was getting. I couldn't handle all of the comments. I couldn't handle it felt like this giant like pressure just like came over me. And the thing that was so interesting about me running from those situations is that I wanted my content to go viral. But then when it happens, you're like, "Oh, I don't think I want this no more." Like, I think I'm good. Y'all asking a lot of questions. You're asking for me to do a lot of things. Like this just feels like a lot is going on now. And you just start to feel like you want to run from the very success that you were working towards, that you were asking for. And that was what I felt like I was doing in this moment. And nothing that I've done these past couple of days has gone viral, but it feels like it's working. And that's scary because if it's working, then that means that if I keep going, it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to work. And then, what if it multiplies and this thing goes further than I could have ever imagined? And now all of a sudden, like, I've started something that I didn't even expect to go in the direction that it's going in. Like there's just so many different things that could come from this. It's like, what if this blows things up in a good way? TikTok, okay? Because I know they be sensitive about phrases and words. But what if this like blows things up in a way that I just never even imagined when I started this? And like, how will I handle that? How will I handle the success? How will I handle it working? And I could feel myself starting to try to stop doing the thing that was working as I'm literally seeing it work, as I'm literally seeing it help. And so it is, and this kind of goes back to something that I had thought about. Um, I talked about this on live a while ago, but like that idea, that concept of having a fear of success and having that fear of what if this leads me into rooms that I never expected or anticipated, or what if this takes me into a tax bracket that I never thought that could happen so quickly, or what if this takes me and leads me to opportunities that I didn't even see coming? Like how can I handle that? Like how will I fare in those types of situations? And not even knowing if that's what's really going to happen. I think that's the part that's really interesting, is that you really don't know what it's going to lead to. I could finish this challenge at the end of the month and there could be nothing miraculous that happens. I mean, like at minimum, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So that's what I would want to happen, regardless of anything else. But there's no guarantee that this will lead to anything major. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no guarantee of that. And so how silly does it look to try to pull back when you don't even know what the outcome is going to be? But it's like I want to try to keep it where it's manageable. I want to keep it where it's comfortable. I want to keep it where I understand what's going on. I want to keep it where I know how things are going to go, because I can't account or control the unexpected. And like even breaking it down that way, it's a control issue. It's a control issue. Yeah, and if I'm being honest, because I see your comment, Kuma. If I'm being honest, y'all, Imma be real honest with you, okay? I know I'm speaking modestly, but I really feel like if I keep this going, this month is gonna be a miraculous month for me. I said it. I said it. I really do believe that if I keep this going, this will be a miraculous month for me. And that it will make so many of the things that I've done this year, so many things that I've done, not even just this year, but the past few years, I feel like it will make so many of those things matter, and it will be like a reward for not giving up and for seeing things through and for pushing myself past what I could control. And there's a part of me that's scary to think about, and that's the part of me that wants to try to control it and keep it manageable. But I feel it. I feel it every time I talk about it, every time I post about it. When I see people reposting it on TikTok and I'm seeing like, this is my goal. Like this doesn't even benefit you really, like other than you just wanting to see me win. Like there's the fact that people are reposting it, and it feels like I started something. And that's those are the moments where instead of leaning in, sometimes I can pull away and try to keep things where it makes sense, where I can make sense of it. Um and so that's that today is why I said that today is more of a personal one for me. Good evening, Nini. That's why I said that today is a personal evening, a personal confession, um, because it really is. It really is. It's revealing. It's interesting what you think about yourself and how you perceive yourself versus when you're in the moment and you are literally watching yourself like make certain decisions. Thank you, big sis. I appreciate that. Because this was, yeah, that's what this was today. And I felt like I needed I needed to share this confession for me, you know? I needed to share it for me. And whoever it helps, I really hope that you I really hope that you take this moment as an opportunity for you to be honest with yourself about the times where you've done that too. Because here is and this is just kind of like a this is just like one of them things that like it bothers me. Okay. This is like a pet peeve. All right, y'all. But one thing that frustrates me when I'm sharing something that's vulnerable or when I'm being transparent with people, and especially because like I cry. Yeah, like I'm a crier. If anybody knows me, y'all know I'm a cry. Okay. That's just it is what it is. So sometimes when I'm sharing things and then I start crying about it, people take that as not even a sign of weakness, because I feel like that phrase is overused. But I feel like the tears make people uncomfortable. Tears make people uncomfortable because now how do I respond to you? How do I deal with this? And the default for many people is to try to give you advice or to try to fix it or to try to make it better. And they'll say things like, oh, don't cry. Like, you're too pretty to cry, which I've always thought was like a weird thing to say to people, but okay. But or it's okay, or this is all you got to do. Like, and they try to like pacify it and like kind of contain it. Right. At least that's how it feels. I'm not saying that that's their intention. And so sometimes I just don't enjoy being transparent. I don't enjoy being vulnerable for that reason. And so something that I've started to say, and this is like inspired by you, Latara, because she always gives her disclaimers. Like, I don't want your advice. I'm not looking for advice. I'm just sharing to help somebody because somebody needs to hear this. And so um I know I cannot stand those phrases. It makes me so upset. Um but what I've started to say instead is, instead of giving me advice, I want you to be honest with yourself, because if this is triggering you, if this is making you uncomfortable, then there is something there for you. And there is nothing worse than having a moment where someone has already opened up the door for vulnerability, and instead of taking that as your way to also be vulnerable, you shut it down. Because now, not only, whatever that does for the person that was vulnerable first, that's one thing. But what it does for you is now you have closed yourself off from an opportunity to heal. You've closed yourself off from an opportunity to be honest about something that you probably need to share. You need to get this off your chest. You need to be able to say, "Oh my goodness, me too." Like, just being able to say that one part, even if you don't go into detail, if you literally just said, "Oh my goodness, me too. I get that. I understand that." Now, instead of shutting it off and making this a moment where you have closed yourself off from being honest, you have now you have now been open to the option to be vulnerable, to be real, and to be like, "Oh, yeah, I get that. Like, I feel that too." Now we can have a conversation. Now it can be a dialogue. And even if it's not with me, even if it's not shared publicly, you get the opportunity to get it off your mind, get it off your chest, get it out of your head, and get it out into the open so that you can now deal with it and hopefully heal from it. So that's that's how I feel about it. That's my thing. So when I see that, I appreciate the people who, want to help and they want to see me happy all the time. But this is just a part of the journey. If y'all want people to be vulnerable, if you want people to be real with you, if you want them to be more expressive about the ups and downs, you also have to know that that comes with a certain level of discomfort, because in them sharing it, you're going to also see yourself. So that's that. But I needed to say that. Like, I needed to get that off my chest, because not only not only was it good for me to recognize that it was happening and to not agree with it, which I'm so proud of, because it's showing that I got discipline, which I need to be able to show myself that I got it. But it's also helping me to keep going towards the goal that I said that I wanted to have. Like, I'm getting to see it, and I just know that there's going to be such a great reward for me in doing this and doing it the way that I'm doing it, and not trying to cut corners, but doing it and committing to it like I know it's going to work. And not only is it going to meet, but it's going to exceed my expectations. So yeah, that's what I got, y'all. That's what I got. I said I was gonna keep today brief, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But I will tomorrow. I will be sharing. Tomorrow is gonna be well. We'll see. Tomorrow I might go into boundaries. That might be my creator confession, just like a a a little teaser. So tomorrow I might be talking about boundaries because that also plays a role. That also plays a role in it. Um, but I do want to share something a little bit more practical. Hey, Therapy Studio, thank you for popping in. I do want to share something a little bit more practical because I've been working on creating a new landing page as an alternative to having a link in bio. And that's something that I taught on a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't like a workshop, but I went through some different options for people who want to have a one page website. And so I might go through how I did mine because I did mine through Wix. However, if you want to get that replay, because I did go through the options, I shared the options and I also went through each page and I also talked about what to include in it, then you make sure that you join for Trendsetters Only. Okay. For Trendsetters Only is our Telegram community. Me and my friend Antoinette, we lead a community full of creative entrepreneurs. And inside the community, we have tons of resources from getting started putting up your digital products, even if you don't have a website. I have a list of over 60 different sites that you can sign up for gifted and influencer brand deal opportunities. There is also a page on there that helps you to decide how much you should be charging. Even if you are not a full-time influencer, but you have a business and you are creating content for that business, you could also be getting brand deals. That's what I do. I run a business and I get brand deals. I do both. Okay. So that's possible. And then I'm going to be uploading that replay of the websites inside of there. So if you want to see that and you want to get an idea of what it will look like and what you should include in there, then you can join by clicking the link in my bio. If you are on mobile, it should work. I was having some problems with the link. So what I will say that if you are having any issues with the link, please DM me or email me on YouTube and I will personally help you get into the group. Okay. So if you click it and it gives you any problems, message me, contact me, and I will get you into the group. The Telegram is absolutely free. But there's so many good things in there, good people, genuine people who want to see you win, who will support you and show up for you. And the more active you are in the group, the more friends and connections that you can make. So that again is called for Trendsetters Only. You can join that. Also, the people in there, you ask questions, you'll get your questions answered. People have been reviewing content. Like there's so much in there. Yes, it's based on Telegram. The age group, the age range, it ranges. The youngest person is like in their mid 20s, and the oldest is in, I believe they're in their 40s or 50s. Yeah, no, you can join. I'm trying to get more of the I'm trying to get more people like in their 50s and their 60s in there because those are my people. Like I love working with people in that age range because y'all have so much to share that is just not on the internet. And I need y'all to be on here. I need people to know the wisdom and the experiences that y'all have to share. So, but it's open. It's not just a young people's group. I think the majority of us are at least like late 30s, mid 40s. So, yeah, roll on up in there. What app? So, I can answer that real fast. So, someone on TikTok asked, "Oh, yay! Welcome in, Latara." So, someone on TikTok asked, "What app am I using?" So, I'm actually not using any app. I'm not using a third party streaming. I'm streaming directly on YouTube right now, through YouTube Studio, and I am on my phone on TikTok. So this is not the most technologically savvy way to do it, y'all, but this is what I have to do right now so that the technology isn't a barrier for me because I have some problems with the third party streaming apps right now. And mainly my issue with them is the quality of my video when I stream. When I stream directly into YouTube, my video is at 1080, so it's still in HD. If you want to have that same kind of quality with most of the third party streaming apps, those are going to cost a little bit more. And because I don't stream, I don't multicast often enough to justify that cost. I don't pay it. But you're going to have to come up off some coins, especially if you don't want to have like the watermark and stuff in there. And I don't like having people's brands on my things if they're not paying me for it. Like, it really bothers me. Like, so because I'm using this service and I'm not paying a certain amount and you're just gonna put your logo on there, I'm good. I don't like that. So, yeah, YouTube Studio is free. There is a minimum of subscribers you have to have before you can go live on YouTube, but I feel like the number is like 50 subscribers. So once you have 50 subscribers, then you can go live on YouTube. So that's what I would suggest starting out. Really? So Latara said that with third party apps, she's realizing that your views are lower. Yeah, I just don't. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable with any of them in the way that they like interface just yet. So one day, maybe when I have someone else that's like producing my show, then they can take care of that part. But for right now, it doesn't make enough sense for me. So yeah. My pleasure, Nini. My pleasure. And so, y'all, the last thing that I'll say, this is gonna be my plug for tonight, and then I'm gonna head out of here. But my plug is that I'm getting into being a brand manager. Okay, like full blown brand management, and I had to take some time with this one and think about what I wanted to offer people, which is why I shied away from taking on clients for this. But as I've been working with people, I've started to hone in on what I enjoy doing. And so I don't have a full blown pitch yet, but here is what I want to do. Okay. And if this is something that interests you, then y'all can email me and we can talk about it some more. But I have someone that I'm going to be helping them to develop a series for, hey, Miss Harris. I'm going to be helping them to develop a fragrance series that's going to be used as content for TikTok and YouTube. So they're going to have their own show that I'm helping them develop, and we're going to be going out to record it in a couple of weeks. I'm also helping with the rebrand, so giving concept ideas for their branding and their logo. Oh, you really? Oh, thank you, Kuma. I'm giving them suggestions on rebranding. So, like their visuals, I gave some feedback on how how their website should be organized so that it's optimized for selling the product that they're focused on. And one thing that I'll say this, and then I'll go into more of the things that I want to help people to do. But the one thing about why that's so important to me is because when I noticed that there was a particular product that this company sold. So she sells fragrances, but she also sells body care products, right? So soaps, body butters, oils, all kinds of things, right? But the thing that has been growing and really blowing her up has been her perfumes. And so even when I saw it, I was like, if that's what people want, this should be its own thing. Like it's too difficult to navigate the website to find your scents. And so if you're seeing that that's what's bringing in the most money right now, then those need their own space, their own page. It should be easy to find them and they should be categorized a certain way. Now, the reason why that's so important, y'all, is because especially when you have a website and you have multiple products, some of y'all are losing out on money because the way that your website is organized is not is doesn't have a is not pleasant for your customers. It's difficult for your customers to find products. It's difficult for them to see what that product looks like and how it operates. There aren't a lot of reviews sometimes, or sometimes people don't have reviews at all, so your reviews are not updated. There aren't like videos of the product in use, which can really be helpful to sell your product even when you're not there. And then most importantly, just like navigating it, going through checkout, like the user experience is not always pleasant. And so you have people who would want to buy your products. However, because they're not able to navigate your sites well, that's a barrier. So if I went to her website without knowing her, and maybe I saw like someone talking about her product on TikTok and I went to her website, it is too difficult for me to find that perfume because of the way that it's organized, right? That was money lost, because if I have to do too much digging and too much searching for it, then that's a problem for me. And now I've lost interest, and now I'm scrolling away, right? And so that could possibly be a customer that you just lose. Another important thing about that, I'm trying to say this quickly, but another thing that's important about that is when you have your website, when you have your spaces where you do business, when you have them organized well, it does the selling for you. So when that means that when you have enough copy that describes your product, when you have those reviews that I talked about, when you have good product images and you show it in multiple ways, even if you're not live, you're not talking about your product, you're not actively creating content about that thing, it's still selling. And that is one of the things that people are missing, where they are now stuck in this cycle of having to constantly show up online, constantly be active somewhere making content. That's why you feel like you're on this hamster wheel, because your content is not working for you. Even things like having blog posts, YouTube videos, things where your long form content explains and it sells your product or your services for you. Those are the things that help you to not have to constantly be visible. You don't have to constantly be online. And that's just on the branding and marketing side, right? There are some things in logistics and even administrative stuff that can help your business function more efficiently, so that you don't have to always be the person that's involved in it. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the back end stuff, the administrative stuff, that's not my expertise. So I wouldn't even take over that for you. I would refer you out for that. But the branding, the marketing, those things that are front facing and like will be the first way that people encounter your business, those are the things that a lot of people don't have in order, where now they're stuck in this like cycle of hustling. Okay. So those are all the things that having somebody like me as a brand manager can help you to do. Another thing that I want to be able to help people to do is to extend their brand. So, brand extension, going into different products, merchandise, different services, things that I really want to help people to do is to help them create an extension of their brand that has more of a passive element to it. Which again, because I'm all about what I want to do is help people to not have to be constantly on. You don't have to constantly be selling. You don't have to constantly be online for your products and your services to be working for you, for your marketing to be working for you. So if you're trying to extend your brand and you're trying to get into more, maybe you sell products and you want to get into more services. Maybe you want to get into more like creating different experiences where you can charge more, because there's a cap to how much you can ethically charge for certain products, right? And then even with that, products are a game where you got to have some capital. So if you want to be able to get into more digital things and have not have so much that you have to invest in growing it, those are the things that I want to help people to extend their brand into. Another thing that I really want to help people to do also is the people who want to be able to extend into brand deals and influencer type situations where you can get paid for creating content as opposed to having to sell a product like yourself. So people who want to extend their brand in that regard, I want to help them with that too. And then the last thing that I want to help people to do is to create ambassador programs. So ambassador affiliate programs where the people that you bring in, the people that you have that are loyal, people who love your products, people who want to see you grow, people who want to tell people about what you do, those people, I want to help you to organize those programs so that they are mutually beneficial for you and for your affiliates. Because a lot of times, especially like as a brand that's a smaller business, even if you're making good money, you don't always have the capital to play the influencer game because the influencers, they cost some money, right? And so people tend to go more for the UGC. They call it UGC, but that's a whole other topic because the terminology is just getting out of control and the way people are abusing it. I won't go on that soapbox. But anyway, your people are trying to get people to make content for them in exchange for product or in exchange for services. And they don't always have the money to pay influencers up front to create the content for them. But that doesn't mean that there aren't ways for you to ethically work with people and collaborate with people with the budget that you have. Now, you're going to have certain things in place to help them, and you're going to have certain expectations and what you're getting from them. However, there are things that you can create and put in place that make it feel like one, like they're a part of the team, that they're not just people making content for you, but really bringing in that team. But then there's also an element of training and education that can help them not only be successful in creating content for your brand, but it'll also make them successful in creating content in general. And so I want to bring in an element of educating the creators and also helping to organize it so that it flows and they're like your street team and they're not just people randomly making content for you. So I want to be able to develop affiliate programs for people as well. So those are the things that I want to offer as a brand manager. And over time, those things, like as more things come up, then of course I can help you with that as well. But that's what I want to get into more. And those types of services are best for people who are already established as business owners. So you have a good amount of revenue coming in, you really want to expand your brand. Maybe things like you're starting to get more orders than you can fulfill. Maybe you're realizing that you want to start to do other things, but you're tied down to one aspect of your business. I want to be able to help you to expand so that you have more of your freedom back because that's really what it's about for me. So those services I already am willing and able to offer. So if you are interested in any of those things that I described, email me. If you're on TikTok, you can DM me and we can set up a consultation to talk about more of your goals. Okay. And then my email for YouTube is going to be in the description box. So you can contact me that way. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, y'all. Oh, thank you, Big Sis. She says on TikTok, she says, whoever chooses to work with you will be blessed. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. This is the last thing that I'll say and then I'll get off. Um, I have I've realized, and I'll share this one day. It's a funny story, but I realized that one of the things that makes working with me different than working with other people is that I don't always have a specific blueprint or a framework for everybody, right? There are certain things that I just know about your business because I have a certain level of understanding about it. And to be honest with y'all, I don't work with people unless I can see what you want for your business. Like if I can visualize it, if it comes to me in a dream, if it comes to me while I'm praying, if it comes to me while I'm just like sitting still, those are the types of people that I know I'm supposed to work with because there's a understanding. It's almost like I get tapped into your vision. And so if I can see what it is that you want and I can see what it is that you need and what you're working towards, then those are the people that I work with. But that's something that I tend to downplay and not share as much, but I can't explain why I be knowing some things sometimes. I just know. Like, oh, you want to do this. And you'll be like, Jada, like, how did you know that? I've never told anybody that. And I'll be like, am I right or not? So if you want that level of understanding, that intimate understanding of your brand, you don't want to just be another number. You don't want to just be some work with someone who's just giving you the same strategy that they use for everybody else because they're just assuming that it works. But you want somebody who actually understands what you're working towards and feel like you have a partner in this, then those are the kinds of people that I want to work with. So um, yeah, it's open though. It's open, and I'm gonna be taking people. There's gonna be a special going on, and I'll announce the prices. I'll announce the prices soon, but there's gonna be a special going on for the people who sign on in 2024 because I'm taking off with this in 2025. So if you know that you want to expand your brand next year and you want to get in with me while the prices are lower, then make sure you email me and we'll have the consultation and I'll give you all the information that you need to make an informed decision. Okay. So I'm not being shady by not telling you right now, but I got to make sure that I'm okay with the price that I'm about to share with y'all. But it's coming. I'm working on it, working on all the details. It's prophetic gifting with a strong word of knowledge. Receive it. I receive it. I receive it. And you're right. It is. Hey, Andrea. Okay. All right, y'all. I have. Uh oh. Hold on. Uh-huh. I gotta verify. No, TikTok got to make sure I'm not I ain't dipped on y'all. But that's what I got for y'all today. So I hope y'all enjoyed today. I hope that you take what I said and what I shared in my confession and you find, if it's true for you, you find what it is that you need to not be the person getting in your own way. Okay. It's the best way I can put it. Don't be the reason your blessings are being blocked. All right. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow and we'll see what I decide to share tomorrow. But I'll see y'all. Have a good night. Bye.